Lao Tzu and Taoism. All that is known of Lao Tzu comes from the classic work records of the grand historian by the Han Dynasty writer Sima Qian Sima, working from older historical and literary documents. Claims that Lao Tzu was one of the curators at the Royal Library in the state of Chu and was known as a philosopher. He advocated a deep, connective empathy between people as the means to peace and harmony, and claimed that such empathy was possible through recognition of the cosmic force of the Tao which had created all things, bound all things, moved all things, and finally loosed all things back into their original state. Aligning oneself with the Tao, according to Lao Tzu, brought one into harmony with the universe and enriched one's life. Opposition to the Tao only brought frustration, unhappiness, and anger, which resulted in bad behavior. He was especially interested in converting the ruling class to his belief, because at this time, in the midst of the era known as the Warring States, period 481 to 221 BCE, 7 states fought each other nearly constantly for supremacy and control of the Chinese government. The Zhou dynasty 1046 to 256 BCE was in decline and could do nothing to maintain order because the separate states were all more powerful than the government but evenly matched against each other. The wars continued and various schools of Chinese philosophy were established, which tried to suggest the best way to end the violence and establish a moral government that would care for its citizens. Lao Tzu, according to Sima Qian, persisted in his efforts to convince people to accept the Tao and live a life in harmony with each other and the universe. And when he finally understood they never would listen to him, he abandoned human society for self-exile. On his way out of China, by way of the Western Pass, the gatekeeper, Yin He, recognized him and asked him to please write down his philosophy before leaving humanity behind. Lao Tzu took the materials from Yin He, wrote until he had nothing left to say, handed the manuscript to him, and walked through the pass, never to be seen again. Yin He had the manuscript published. It is unlikely that any of this ever happened, however. Taoism is more or less the same way it is expressed in the Tao Te Ching, developed during the Song dynasty 1600 to 1046 BCE from the same folk belief and understanding which produced the I Ching, a book of divination, which was informed by the concept of the principles of yin and yang. Scholar John M. Kohler comments, Yin-Yang thought began as an attempt to answer the question of the origin of the universe. According to Yin-Yang thought, the universe came to be as a result of the interactions between the two primordial opposing forces of yin and yang. Because things are experienced as changing, as processes coming into being and passing out of being, they must have both yang or being, and yin, or lack of being. The world of changing things that constitutes nature can exist only when there are both yang and yin. Without yang, nothing can come into existence. Without yin, nothing can pass out of existence. This concept was later adopted by the polymath Zhu Yang 305 to 240 BCE, who founded the Yin-Yang school. One of the many including Taoism which are recognized from the period known as the 100 Schools of Thought from the Spring and Autumn period 772 to 476 BCE and the Warring States period. It could be argued that Zhu Yang took the principles of the yin-yang from Lao Tzu, but this is unlikely as it seems clear it existed centuries prior to his supposed existence. Further, the same basic concept of dualistic forces in constant motion informed the concept of Qian as recognized by the philosophies of Confucianism and Moism, among others. Even so, tradition still maintains that Lao Tzu is the author of the Tao Te Ching and that the work represents his last words to humanity. We hope you like our video. Do you want to see more videos? Subscribe to our channel. We wish you a beautiful day.